Do 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 do. You're watching Chov's Calculus channel.
What's up? That was all digital, not rehearsed at all. Welcome, guys. Welcome to another exciting installment. UH Quiz 17, Math Life. Let's get this rolling. All right, so right off the bat, it says determine the exact value of arc cosine negative square root of 3 over 2. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, is this a calculus test or is this a pre-cal test? Well, it's a calculus quiz, but relax. This really is just a pre-cal quiz, guys. So that means cosine of what angle is a negative square root of 3 over 2. So on the unit circle, the first one you hit is this one at 5 pi over 6. So 5 pi over 6 is the answer. And I know what you're thinking, Chavez, I do not understand why the answer is not 7 pi over 6. Well, that is, but this is the one, when you type this into the calculator, this is the one that the calculator is going to spit out. So it's going to spit out 5 pi over 6 because that's the first one we hit. All right, guys, let's go to the next one. So now this one says determine the exact value of arcsine of sine of 8 pi over 3. Well, look how close this guy is to 3 pi. Well, hold on, there we go. So 8 pi over 3 is actually, let's see. So I actually do, so it's not 3 pi, by the way. I'm just saying, look how close it is. So let's see. If I were to do 6 pi over 3 plus 2 pi over 3. So this right here is 2 pi. So you've done a whole revolution, and then you add another 2 pi over 3. So really, I am right here. You're right there. So this is like 2 pi over 3, guys. So you're saying arcsine of some value. What value is that? It's going to be a half. Well, if you type this in, now I want the very first one that hits half. Well, 2 pi over 3 sine, yes, sine of 2 pi over 3 is a half, but that's not the first one that you hit. Sine of pi over 3 is also a half. So pi over 3 is your answer. See? So really, you just got to know pre-cal on those. If you don't know pre-cal, feel free to come in, and we will talk pre-cal, guys. For those of you that are watching from out of town, let me know, and I'll create a pre-cal installment instead of just always doing count. All right, so this question here, it says determine the exact value of cosine 2 arcsine 12 over 13. Hopefully your pre-cal is legit. This right here on the inside means sine negative 1, that's arcsine there. 12 over 13 equals theta, so it means sine of what angle equals 12 over 13. So I'm going to draw a triangle, a right triangle specifically. So here's my right triangle. I'm going to say this is my angle, guys. So sine is opposite of our hypotenuse, so 12, 13. And I don't know if you recognize this, but this is the triplet one. In case you don't know, that's a 5. No big deal. You could have done Pythagorean theorem. 13 squared minus 12 squared will get you the square root of 25, and the square root of 25 is 5. All right, so now, so what I really have is cosine of 2 theta there, guys, because all this is just some angle. See? All that is just some angle. So cosine 2 theta, we actually have several routes. You can go cosine squared theta minus sine squared theta. You can go, let's see, what else? You can replace the sine squared theta with, let's see, with sine squared theta equals cosine squared, 1 minus cosine squared theta. So then you get, let's see, distribute the negative. So 2 cosine squared theta minus 1. That's another route. You can replace the cosine squared with 1 minus sine squared theta. 1 minus sine squared theta minus sine squared theta. And we get 1 minus 2. It's a 1. 2 sine squared theta. That's the route we're going to take, guys. Why are we taking that route? Because we have sine theta. Yes, I know we have cosine theta as well. But sine theta, is, I think, is the easiest one. It doesn't matter, really. You can go whatever route you want. 1 minus 2 times 12 over 13, close it squared. So we get 1 minus 2 times 12 squared is 144 over, I want to say 169, but I'm always bad at these things. Yeah, so we're good. So now keep going. So we got 1 minus, if you double the 144, what's that, 288? So you got 1 minus 288 over 169. Yeah. So now just turn that 1 into 169 over 169. 169 over 169 minus 288 over 169. And you get 169 minus 288. You get negative 119 over 169. I know if you have a calculator, guys, you can just find it easily. But try to do as much as you can by hand because we won't always have the a calculator with us to calculate things. But try to do as much as you can by hand. And I guess you can use a 4-function calculator or something small to do your little arithmetic here. All right, so now I'm taking the derivative. So now we're getting into real calculus. So we're taking the derivative of that. So it's going to be y prime equals 1 over 1 plus u squared. Or if your professor taught you otherwise, u squared plus 1, that's fine. So x plus 8 squared times the derivative of that, which is 1. So there it is. Now I'm just going to expand it, guys. 1 over 1 plus x times x is x squared. 8x plus 8x is 16x. And 8 times 8 is 64. There's a 1 there, so I add it. So 1 over x squared plus 16x plus 65. And then I'll look for that. So on this one here, I got to do product rule. So y prime equals first 6e to the 4x times the root of the second 1 over the square root of 1 minus x squared plus second arcsine of x times the root of the first. So 6e to the 4x, chain rule, times 4. So making it pretty, you get y prime equals 6e to the 4x over square root of 1 minus x squared plus, let's see, 6 times 4 is 24. 24 e to the 4x arcsine of x. So we look for that, and there it is. All right, here we got to do quotient rule. Now we're starting to get into algebra, guys. So that's that activity that we did today. So I'm glad that we did it. So y equals bottom times the root of the top. 1 over 1 plus 3x close it squared times 3 minus bottom times root of the top minus top arctan of 3x times derivative of the bottom, which is 1. All this is over bottom squared. Let me make sure I did it correct. Bottom times root of the top minus top times root of the bottom over bottom squared. Perfect. So that's a y prime, by the way. So sorry for not putting y prime. So y prime equals, let's see, 3x over 1 plus 9x squared minus arctan of 3x. All this is over x squared. So what I'm going to do, I noticed that answer is not in there, not like that at least. So what we need a common denominator in the numerator. So I'm going to multiply this guy here, the arctan of 3x, multiply it by 1 plus 9x squared over 1 plus 9x squared. When you do that, here's what you get. Y prime equals 3x over 1 plus 9x squared minus arctan of 3x, 1 plus 9x squared over 1 plus 9x squared. If you want to put these in parentheses, that's fine. All this is over x squared. Now that I have the same common denominator, I can group them. And I'm going to slide the x squared below. So I'm going to do it like this, guys. 3x minus arctan of 3x, 1 plus 9x squared over, and I'll put the x squared first, 1 plus 9x squared. In case you're wondering why that x squared is there, it's that keep, change, flip deal. So now I'm going to distribute this. So it looks like a lot, guys. Relax. I'm just showing every step. You might not need to take so many steps. 3x minus arctan of 3x minus 9x squared arctan of 3x all over x squared 1 plus 9x squared. And that's what I would look for, guys. I like to put the 9x squared in the front. They did not do that. Here it is. So in case you're wondering, Chavez, that's not the same one. Yeah, it is. There's my 3x right here. Here's your arctan 3x. And they put the x squared here in the back. I would have elected to put it right there. No big deal. So be it. And there it is, guys. All right. Again, same thing. So let's take the derivative right off the bat. Y prime equals, this is just taking the derivative of arctan here. So 1 over 1 plus, all of this is your u. In case you're wondering, you're saying, Chavez, what do you mean by u? I'm going to put it right here. d dx of arctan of u is 1 over 1 plus u squared du dx. So that's what I mean by u, guys. So 1 over parenthesis ln of 5x plus 7 close, all that is being squared. And I'm not done yet. Times, look, it says du dx, so derivative of that. 1 over 5x plus 7, and then chain rule, times 5. So let's see if we can put all this nice and neat. Y prime equals, I see a 5 in the top, 1 times 1 times 5, over, and then all this, I'm going to put it in parentheses, guys. Parenthesis, 1 plus, open another parenthesis, ln of 5x plus 7, close this guy. I'm closing the ln right there, and that is being squared, and then close the whole shebang. So let me color code this. Oh, the AC just turned off. I don't know if you guys could hear that. So that is just that, and then right next to it, let me keep extending this fraction here. Next to it, I'm going to have 5x plus 7. And before I start distributing anything, I check to see if that answer is in there. And there it is right here. Cool, guys? Cool. Don't you feel cool? Hell yeah. All right. Let's go to the next one. So here we go. It's going to be some algebra, which you guys don't fear because you guys are strong. You're strong, independent individuals who don't need anyone to tell you what to do and what not to do. Because you can do it. Y prime equals, the derivative of arcsin is 1 over the square root of 1 minus whatever you have on the inside. So open parenthesis, square root of 6 minus 4x squared, close it, squared. We're not done. Times the derivative of that. So I'm going to put it here on the side somewhere. This is not the derivative. I'm just writing it on the side so you guys can see what's up. So that is equivalent to 6 minus 4x squared with a half on it. So I'm going to use that to help me take the derivative. All right, so here we go. Times taking the derivative of that. 1 half, open parentheses, 6 minus 4x squared to the negative 1 half. And then don't forget, some of you guys are forgetting to do this last step. Times negative 8x. There we go. Now we finished the chain rule. So now let's see if we can figure this out. Half and 8, well, half times 8 is 4, so that's a negative 4x. So all this is being multiplied, so I'm going to have y prime equals a negative 4th at the top. In the bottom, I have this guy. That guy squared is, now let's see, square root 1 minus 6 minus 4x squared. The reason I don't have a square root on the 6 minus 4x squared is because I squared it right there. See? All right, so now this guy right here in green is going to be going down. So let me put this guy down here. So that guy is, times the square root of 6 minus 4x squared. And all that is in the bottom like that. I think I got everything. All right, I'm going to distribute this guy. So y prime equals negative 4x over 1 minus 6 is a negative 5, guys. So square root of a negative 5 plus 4x squared. And then I'm still multiplying that sucker by 6 minus 4x squared. Now remember, you guys took algebra. So if you have the square root of a, this is a side note. I should probably, let me put this in black here. Sorry, guys. Technical issues. If I have the square root of a, this is a side note here, Sn. Square root of a times the square root of b, that's the same thing as the square root of ab. So y prime equals negative 4x. Knowing that property there, I have square root times square root. I can write square root, and then in parentheses, negative 5 plus 4x squared, close, open another one, 6 minus 4x squared, and hopefully they left it alone, and we'll see. And lo and behold, hallelujah, thank you, Jesus. Here it is, negative 4x squared minus 5, and then 6 minus 4x squared. Cool? Cool. All right, let's go to the next one. Ooh, you guys are going to love this one. You're going to love it. All right, sorry, that one might have sounded kind of weird there. But, all right, here we go. Did it sound weird?
No.
Oh, okay, that didn't sound weird. Confirmed. It sounded amazing because you guys are going to love this because it's really awesome and has a lot of awesome algebra. All right, let's go right into it. So this, I'm going to rewrite it, guys. That is just y equals parentheses 36 minus x squared, close it to the half, and then plus 6 arcsin of x over 6. All right, so here we go. Now that we've rewritten it, I'm going to take a derivative. Y prime equals, bring the half to the front, leave the inside alone, close it to the negative 1/2. You're not done yet. Times the derivative of negative x squared, so negative 2x. So we just took care of that. Now we still got to take care of the derivative of arcsin here. So plus 6, and then the derivative of arcsin is 1 over the square root of 1 minus x over 6. Close it, put a square on it. We're not done. Times the derivative of x over 6 is just 1/6. Close. All right. So right off the bat, before I even continue, I'm going to do this, guys. That 6 and that 1/6 cancel each other out. This half and that negative 2 cancel each other out. So now here's what I have. Y prime is equal to negative x over the square root of 36 minus x squared plus, let's see, 1 over the square root of 1 minus x squared over 36. Now, at that point, you see all the answers and you're crying, or you're not crying. You're looking at it and you're like, how am I going to get that to look like that? All right, well, first, all this is inside that square root. We're going to change this 1 here into 36 over 36. So here we go. I'm going to, let me write it right here. So negative x over square root of 36 minus x squared plus, here we go, 1 over square root 36 over 36 minus x squared over 36. So now, okay, now what we're going to do, I have a feeling I messed up somewhere. Nope, let's keep going. So now y prime equals, so I have negative x over square root 36 minus x squared plus, let's see, 1 over square root 36 minus x squared over 36. Now, side note, I'm going to put the side note right here. Remember when you guys had algebra 2, they told you a over b squared, that's the same thing as saying square root of a over the square root of b squared, which was square root of a over b. And of course, you can have it written like that, or you can have it written as 1 over b times the square root of a. So I just want you guys to know that. That's a side note. All right, so now that we've said that side note, I have negative x over square root of 36 minus x squared plus 1 over, and that 36, the square root of 36 is 6, so I got to make sure that it stays in the bottom though. So there it is, 1/6 square root of 36 minus x squared. Okay, how do we feel so far, guys? Do we feel okay? I mean, I can't hear you guys, so I'm not sure, but I hope that you feel okay. All right, so now 1/6 goes into 1 6 times. So my y prime is going to turn like this now. Negative x square root 36 minus x squared. Let's see, plus 6 over square root of 36 minus x squared. Sorry, guys, I had to yawn there. All right, so next, the denominators are the same, so they're being kind of nice to me. Excuse me. Negative x plus 6 over the square root of 36 minus x squared. We're almost done, I can assure you. So what we're going to do now, Notice the denominator, we have 36 minus x squared. That's the difference of squares. So y prime equals, let's see. I'm going to rewrite this in the top, guys. I'm going to rewrite it as 6 minus x. It's the same thing. See, the 6 is still positive and the x is negative. Over, and on the bottom, that's the difference of squares. So I'm going to write it as 6 plus x, 6 minus x. So now, what I want you guys to recognize is this. This is to the power 1. And notice, look, I have a square root. This is underneath the square root. Goes back to, did I write a side note on that? It's kind of similar to this one here where I combined when I was multiplying. So it's the same property, more or less. And I'm going to separate it like this. So I have 6 minus x on the top. And on the bottom, I can write it like this. 6 plus x to the half. And 6 minus x to the half. See? So now, because I have a whole one here, that's to the power 1, I can delete the entire this one completely. So if I take that one out, I no longer have a whole, I have a half. You got to subtract. 1 minus a half. So finally, here's what you have. And I know I'm bleeding into this next one here, but I have this 6 minus x to the half over 6 plus x to the half. So that, since I have half on both, I can just write one giant square root and put 6 minus x, 6 plus x. And there it is, guys. Wow, look at all that beautiful math. All right, let's go to the next one. I'm going to write it in blue so we don't confuse you guys. All right, so here we go. I want the derivative of that. This one's easier. So y prime is equal to arcsin. So let's see, 1 over square root of 1 minus whatever I have on the inside. So e to the 4x over 6, close it, squared, times the derivative of that. So let's see, the derivative of that is going to be e to the 4x over 6 times 4. So rewriting that, y prime is going to equal to, let's see, 4e to the 4x. 4e to the 4x over, let's see, I have a 6 down here, square root of 1 minus, if I square that, it's going to be e to the 8x over 36. And I don't think I have that just, yeah, they're going to make you work a little bit, guys. So that 1 turned it into 36. You know what? Let's reduce this right off the bat because that's kind of bugging me. I have a 4.5. Oh, you know what? No. Never mind. It was bugging me until I saw that it's a 36 and it's going to cancel out. So, all right. So here's what I see. Leave the top as 4e to the 4x. I'm going to turn that 1 into 36 over 36. So I have 6 square root of 36 over 36 minus e8x over 36. And now you have 4e to the 4x over 6 square root of 36 minus e8x, and all that is over 36, and the square root of 36 is 6, so that's going to cancel that out. So here's what we have, 4e to the 4x over 6, that's it's going to cancel out right there, 36 minus e to the 8x. So those cancel out, and finally you have 4e to the 4x over square root of 36 minus e to the 8x. And now we look for that. All right, guys, that was the last one. I really hope you enjoyed it. I think this is one of my best ones. So have fun and enjoy this quiz and enjoy this video. So we're good? Enjoy the exit video while I stop the recording.
Done?
Nope, still.